This recording is for Excel Tutorial 5, Case Problem 2, Ring Family Farm. Step 1 is to open the Ring workbook and save it as Ring Farm. I know you guys can do that, so we'll skip that and Step 2. In Step 3, create an Excel table in the Expenditures worksheet. Rename the table as Checkbook. So we can click here and do an Insert Table. And it highlights the range of data. Our table does have headers, so we can click on OK. When you are in the table area, it gives you the option to name the table. Instead of Table 1, we'll name it Checkbook. Alright, Step 4, replace the category code Farm in each record with Payroll. And so we can do on the home ribbon a find and replace. So here we go to replace. We want to find Farm and replace it with Payroll. Now here's the only issue, is that we want to make sure that it's just in the category, because if there's anything, any payee named that has farm in the name, like Fuller Farm Equipment, we don't want it to say Fuller Payroll Equipment. So let's go ahead and go to Options, and we'll say Search in Columns and match entire cell contents. That's way we know that it'll only replace when the cell contents is farm instead of having farm as a part of the name. So we'll just do a replace all. It's made 13 replacements, and you can see here that now farm is payroll, yet we've still maintained here Fuller Farm Equipment, so it worked. Step 5, make a copy of the expenditures worksheet and rename it Q5. You can copy worksheets many ways. You can right click on the worksheet tab and do a move or copy, and then in this window here click on create a copy and move to the end. You can also just hold the control key, click on the worksheet tab and drag it to the right, and that'll create a copy as well. I know that these recordings don't always get the worksheet tabs on the bottom, and so I'm trying to use menus as much as possible. Alright, so we now have the Q5 worksheet, and it wants us to sort the checkbook table in ascending order by category, then by payee, and then by date paid. So we're doing a multi-level sort, so we're going to need to do it here instead of with the filter arrows. So we click on Sort. The first level of the sort is by category. Then we add a level and do by payee. And then we add another level and do by date paid with the newest first. And that'll perform our multi-level sort. Alright, make another copy in Step 6 of the expenditures worksheet and rename the copied worksheet Q6. I'm going to assume you know how to do that since we just went through that. And so here we have Q6, and it wants us to filter the checkbook table to display all expenditures for equipment and repairs in December. So equipment and repair is under here in category, so we click on the filter arrow, deselect all of them so we can just select equipment and repairs. Now that narrowed it down to that category, but it wants us to choose just December, and so the date paid needs to be filtered down to just December. After that, they want us to sort by amount smallest first. So we go to amount and do a sort smallest first. And that gives us our answer to Q6. For Step 7, we're making another copy of the expenditures worksheet. Here we are on Q7, and we are filtering the checkbook to display all checks that include the word vet in the payee's name. So here's the payee column. And they want us to find everything that has vet in there. So we're going to go here to the filter, and we're going to do a text filter that contains vet. And we click on OK, and that narrows it down to 3 of them, which it drives me crazy because they spell veterinary wrong. That's not how you spell it, but they've been doing this for years, so I'm just going to ignore it. The last part of Step 7 is to include the total amount at the bottom of the table. So we're going to go to the Table Tools Design ribbon and add a total row. Okay, Table Tools Design ribbon, add a total row, and then down here they wanted us to total the amount. So we go to the Amount column and choose Sum, and it gives us the total amount of all those checks to be paid to the vet. Alright, Step 8, again, make another copy of the expenditures worksheet. We're getting really good at that. So we have Q8 here, and it asks us to use conditional formatting to apply a yellow fill with dark yellow text all outstanding checks. So we go here on the home ribbon to, first we have to highlight our range. So we're highlighting the area where outstanding checks remain. And we go to conditional formatting, and our rule is going to be when it's equal to yes. And we're going to choose the yellow fill with dark yellow text and click on OK. You can see here that all of the ones that are yes are in fact highlighted in yellow. All right, so step 9, make another copy of the expenditures worksheet and call it Q9. And that's where we are now, and we want to use the subtotal command to display the total amount for each category. Okay, so we need to sort it by category first and then total the amount column. So you can't, if you look here, when you go to data on the ribbon, subtotal is grayed out. It's because you can't subtotal within a table. So the first thing we need to do is go to the Table Tools Design ribbon and convert this table back to a range. So we click on Convert to Range. We confirm that yes, we want to do that, and now we can go to Data and Subtotal to start the process. The first step in the subtotaling process is to do a sort on the one that needs to be subtotaled, and that's category. So if we look here, you can see that everything already is sorted, isn't it? Yep. So everything's already grouped together. All the administration is together, all the equipment is together, etc. So we click on subtotal and we say at each change in category, we want to sum the amount and click on OK. You can see now we have it grouped by category, and at the bottom of each category we have the sum of the amount column, and you can check that. When you check your subtotals, make sure that you don't see any thing repeating. So if I have administration total here, I should not see administration anywhere else. If I do, then I didn't sort before I did my subtotals. All right, step 10, going back to the expenditures worksheet. Step 10 says to create a pivot table that summarizes expenditures by category and month. Place it in a new worksheet, name it Q10 to 11. So we're going to do an insert pivot table. It automatically selects your range, chooses new worksheet, so all we really have to do is click on OK. So I'm just going to move and rename the worksheet. Q10 to 11. And summarize the expenditures by category and month. So with pivot tables, you don't know if you're going to have the heading in the row area or in the column area. The great thing is you can easily pivot the information back and forth just by clicking, dragging, and dropping. So I'm going to start off with the category in the column area and then the date paid in the month area. And you can see here that there's all these dates. It looks really ugly and long, and we want to group these into months, and we do that just by clicking on any single date, right-clicking on it, and going to group. Once you choose that, it'll allow you to choose how you want to group it. It defaults to months when you're working with dates, and so we click on OK, and you can see now that all of those dates are grouped by the month that they appeared in. So this looks okay. I actually probably would pivot this around and do category in the row area and date in the column area. And we need to take the amount. We want to show the sum of the amounts. So we're going to drag amounts into the values area, and you can see that these are all totals. Got to format that. Always need to format your numbers to the appropriate format, whether it's currency, percentage, have consistent decimal places, etc. And that should be it. I think that looks good. Very easy to read, all on one page, and the information is nicely separated. So it says insert step 11, insert a pivot chart with a clustered column chart type on this worksheet. So if you're in your pivot table, all you have to do is go to the Pivot Table Tools Options ribbon, click on Pivot Chart, choose the type that it asks you to, the clustered column, click on OK, and you're done. Of course, you'd move it around so I guess it looks nice, but the technique is all the same. Last step. Step 12, create the pivot table shown in figure 5-56, and it's the by category, and we have two things we're doing with our data. The amount field, we're totaling it, and we're figuring out the percentage of total. So I'm going to go back to my expenditures worksheet and insert a pivot table. I'm going to rename my worksheet Q12 and drag it into place. And here you can see that we want category in the row area, and there's nothing in the column area. It's just we have the values. We have the amount in the values area, and you can see that if I format these, that it does in fact match the book. They have a different sort. They sort highest to lowest. We can do that here in a little bit. But the last one is a percentage of total. So what I need to do is I need to place the amount field in the values area again. Anytime you're doing multiple calculations, you need to have the field appear in the values area multiple times. So we're doing total and percent of total. That's two types of calculations, so we need the amount field in the values area 2 times. So the second one, though, we're going to go to value field settings, and I'm going to say here show value as, and from here I'm going to do percent of total, which is I think it's this one right here. Percent of it's not that one. Percent of column total, I believe. Does that seem right? Yeah, I think that's right. If it's not, I guess I'll be doing some editing. And then the caption will be PCT of total, like it shows in your book. Click on OK. And if we look here, that is right. We just need to sort it. Here, A to Z, or smallest to largest, I should say. Or I'm sorry, largest to smallest. And our pivot table looks like the one in step 12 on page 296. And that is it.